Welcome to Origins, where we tell you the origins of your favorite superheroes and villains. Now, any alterations to the text, panels, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by the respected companies. Today we're going to be discussing Firestorm, as he's about to fully join the Flash TV show. Now, there have been multiple versions of Firestorm in the history of the character, but today we're going to be going over the core origin of the Firestorm Matrix itself, and the first two individuals to hold the title of Firestorm. Keep in mind, the New 52 and the show are both going in different directions with this character and the concept. Now, Ronnie Raymond wasn't known for his intelligence, but he was known for being one heck of an athlete. He was the jock of the school. Because of this, the school's genius, Carmichael, decided to pick on Ronnie and make him the butt of just about every joke. Ronnie put up with it for a little while, and while this was going on, he was trying to get close to one of his classmates, Doreen. He figured that if she didn't care what Carmichael was saying about him, then he wouldn't care either. Well, that was until Carmichael decided to pick an argument with Ronnie in the school cafeteria. Ronnie, finally getting frustrated, spun around to tell Carmichael to lay off, and he spilled his lunch all over Doreen's dress. She didn't care she was developing feelings for Ronnie, but he was mortified and he left the school in a hurry. Meanwhile, Dr. Stein, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist, was trying to create a new source of nuclear energy, while dealing with a protesting group at his doorstep. The protesters felt that Dr. Stein's new nuclear plant would be unsafe and it would potentially hurt the neighborhood. But that wasn't the purpose of it. He actually built this facility to have the ultimate failsafe. Everything would have worked out just fine, except that one of his former employees brought in the government to do a final safety inspection a day before the launch of the plant. This inspection was going to take 3 to 4 months. So Dr. Stein got left there trying to plan what he was going to do. How could he delay this that much longer? He didn't have the funding left. And then he said, screw it. I'm going to put this plant online tonight, and I'm going to show everyone how safe it can be. Meanwhile, Ronnie was back at home on the phone with Doreen, and she was telling him that it's gonna be okay, just ignore Carmichael. And Ronnie keeps telling her that he just wants to show her how good of a guy he can be. And that's when he sees the protester group on the television asking for volunteers to help with their protest against this nuclear plant. That's it. Ronnie knows how he can show everyone how amazing he can be. He'll go protest the plant and make the entire school proud of him. So Ronnie headed to the protesters' headquarters straight away, and when he gets there, right off he finds the whole thing to be a bit weird, as the protesters are apparently planning to break into the facility. Not really one to question what's going on with this group as he just joined them, he follows them to the plant, and it's there that they cut a hole in the fence and they all sneak in, stating that tonight they're gonna do more than just stand here and protest. Ronnie stops right there and he says, wait, isn't all of this against the law? What are we really doing? What's the point of this? So the head protester tells them that they're gonna blow up the whole plant with bombs. If they blow up the nuclear plant, it can never get turned online and they'll win. Well, Ronnie stares at them in shock and he tells them that they can't do this. They're gonna kill so many people. So the protesters just knock him out and they begin to carry him inside while Dr. Stein is watching on the monitors. Being the only person in the facility since he sent all of the security guards home for the night because, he was going to illegally start the entire plant, he decided to go and confront them. And he tells them that if they don't leave right now, he's gonna call the police. So they knock out Dr. Stein also, and they leave both Ronnie and Dr. Stein next to the bombs as they set them up. Ronnie wakes up just before the bombs are about to explode and he runs over to them hoping to deactivate them. Now, this would have been the end of both Ronnie and Dr. Stein, but Dr. Stein turned the plant on moments before he confronted the protesters, so this new nuclear power was now in full swing. So as Ronnie is about to get to the bombs go off, igniting the nuclear power in the facility, and the nuclear power with the explosion combine into a super explosion. A crazy maelstrom begins to swirl around the entire facility, and both Ronnie and Dr. Stein are fused into one being, one superpowered being known as Firestorm. Confused as to what happened, Ronnie looks around and he realizes that he knows everything there is to know, and he can look at everything on a molecular level. He then tries out his new powers and he rearranges the molecules of a destroyed wall by repairing it as if it was brand new. Ronnie quickly creates clothing around him because he realizes that he's naked. It's a little drafty in this plant since there's holes all over the place, and he begins to realize why he knows everything. The minds of both Ronnie and Dr. Stein are now in the mind of Firestorm. Ronnie is the brawn, while Dr. Stein is the brains. The two men agree to go capture the punks who blew up the facility and test out their new abilities, and as you would imagine, they make very short work of these random protesters. The whole gang of protesters initially tries to jump on Firestorm, so he changes the ground around them into nothing, allowing the whole group to fall into a giant hole. And then another protester pulls a gun out, so Firestorm turns it into a cucumber. And then the last protester tries to blow up dynamite in Firestorm's face, so he absorbs the blast into himself. The city has a new superhero now, one with incredible abilities. And that's when Ronnie sees his own reflection, his monstrous reflection, and he realizes that this isn't Ronnie Raymond anymore. He's just a monster with flaming hair. He wants to be Ronnie again. And with that simple desire, Ronnie and Dr. Stein separate and they are themselves again. And thus, Firestorm the Nuclear Man was born. Now, Firestorm is an interesting guy because he's normally two people merged into one to create Firestorm. Depending on the origin or the point in his timeline, this is either Ronnie Raymond, Dr. Stein, Jason Roush, Mikkel Arkadine, or Jenna. Now, there have been others, but this list gets very weird if you start working in the one-off people. It would appear at a quick glance that they're trying to create a new version for the Flash TV show, because while they're using Ronnie, he appears to be as intelligent as Jason was, and they've also mentioned Dr. Stein, and they showed him merging with Ronnie, but they're both now the smart guy. I'm a little lost as to what their ultimate plan is, but we'll see. His actual powers allow him to rearrange the atomic and subatomic structure of inorganic material. Basically, he can turn anything into anything else, as long as the driver of the Firestorm Matrix knows how it's created. He can also fly, make himself intangible so he can fly through things, and create fusion blasts from his hands. If you learned something new, please give this video a like, and follow us on Twitter at Comicstorian so we can chat about all of your favorite comic books. I'm Benny for the Comicstorian, and we'll see you guys next time.